features, how to use command line tools, how to use some basic features of this operating system so that we can get acquainted, we can get equipped in order to start our ethical hacking journey. So first of all, congratulations on your virtual machine. Now you're ready to go. So this is our Kali Linux machine. So this is our desktop as a usual operating system, and we see some kind of icons over here, right? Like trash, file system, home, and they can change over time, and it doesn't matter because I'm going to show you how to reach everything inside of Kali Linux, okay? So right now, if you don't see this file system or home, it doesn't matter, but if you see it, you can just double click on it, and you can see the files and folders that are available to you inside of your Kali Linux, okay? So we're going to use this a lot, obviously. But in here, at the left-hand corner, you can see some kind of a search and categories in order to find the tools that are residing inside of Kali Linux. And we see those categories like web application analysis, database assessment, password attacks, and these are categorized according to their attack categories, okay? So if you want to do a password attack, then you can just come over here and see the related tools. Of course, you don't know anything right now, but in time you will learn how to use some of these tools, some of the most popular ones inside of Kali Linux and inside of general cybersecurity as well. So if you want to find a tool, including the trash or file manager or home or file system, you can just search it from here. Okay, so this is where we are going to use and find the tools that we need. For example, one of the most basic ones is Firefox, right? So this is a browser, and we can just connect to the internet by clicking on this Firefox icon. And obviously, we're going to use this a lot as well. So if I click on this, it will just pop open the Firefox for me, and I can test to see if my connection works or not. Remember, I have chosen NAT network before I started Kali Linux when I first imported Kali Linux. So if you did this right, then you can just come over here and search for Google, for example, or just go to google.com, and it will open the web page for you. If you cannot connect to the internet, it means that you have misconfigured the NAT network. Please go back and do that. So if you search for Firefox and right-click on it, you can just say add to desktop in order to create a shortcut for your Firefox application. And you can do that for any other tool as well. For example, right now I have the Firefox over here. I can just double click on it. It will open the Firefox for me. I'm going to add the most popular ones, the most needed ones, and what we're going to use most in this course. For example, I have a terminal over here. You can just click the terminal icon on the left upper side, and this is where we interact with the computer actually. We can just write a command, and Kali Linux will execute that command for us. If you cannot find the terminal over here, you can just search for terminal and add it to your desktop as well, so that whenever you may want to open the terminal, you can just double click on it and it will pop open. We're going to use this terminal feature a lot as well, so you better add the Firefox and the terminal in your desktop. So on the right-hand side, we see some kind of a calendar, like some kind of date and clock features. So we're not going to need this a lot. Obviously, we have our own host computer for this stuff, but you can just change the dates if you want over there. And here you see the connections. So we're going to use this a lot as well. So we are wired connected right now. Why are we wired connected? Because it thinks that it's getting the internet from the host machine using a wire. So this is what the NAT network is basically. We are connected to the host machine through a wire, supposedly. Okay, so we're using this wired connection in order to get the data from the host machine. So over here, we can just enable this do not disturb function or method or feature in order to block the notifications. And over here, we see the battery state. And in here, we have this kind of logout or lock screen feature. If you click on it, it will lock your screen. You can just give the root and tour as password and username. And at the right-hand side, we have this logout as well. So if you want to lock the screen or log out, you can just click on those icons. Okay? So anything missing? Maybe we haven't seen this, so this minimizes all up on Windows. We can see this is the terminal, and I believe we have skipped the search feature over here. Actually, we have seen it, but we haven't seen the icons at the right-hand side over here. For example, we have the lock screen and logout function again, but we haven't clicked on the all settings button, right? So this is where you change the settings of Kali Linux. If you click on it, you can access the general settings of your operating system. Like you can change the appearance, you can change the background, you can change the theme of the Kali Linux to dark or light or whatever you want, okay? You can just change the display or the fonts, and yep, this is basically the general settings of an operating system, okay? So right now, I don't have to change anything, but if you want to customize Kali Linux, I suggest you take a look around over there. And maybe one last point before we continue. Kali Linux used to have some kind of a different user interface before, but it hasn't completely changed yet. So in year 2020, you may come across with Kali Linux looking like this. So let me show you. So if you have seen something like this, don't worry, it's basically the same thing. It just asks you for a username, and you can just give root as well and tour for password as well, okay? And it will open the Kali Linux as you had seen before. So it will have a slightly different user interface like this. So it's again a desktop, but you have this left pane like a favorite dock on the left-hand side, okay? So this really doesn't matter. It does the same thing. It has the same commands. It has the same tools. But if you come across with this user interface, don't be confused. You can still reach the applications from here, okay? You can still click on the left-hand side from the dock rather than desktop, for example, and it will open the applications for you. So this is basically the same thing. And during the course, you will see I'm using both this user interface and the other original user interface as well. And again, it doesn't matter because they do the same thing. So let me close this down. I'm going to continue from this user interface right now in order not to confuse you at the section. And we're going to see one of the